Hey everyone, this is Shubhankar. This is the third video in the 4 video series on timeline theory, a case study, a personal case study of my life and how I have implemented it over the last 10-11 years of my life. In the first 2 videos, I took you through the period 2013 to 2017, where I was just entering college. I took you through my college years and how I implemented the timeline theory each and every year, revised my timeline. College really was the first time, this third or fourth year was really the first time where using the timeline theory, it helped me sort of warn myself and prepare at least a year in advance for something that was going to be a watershed moment that if I had not prepared for, I was going to regret. So that period was placements, that period was preparing for entrance examinations for the MBA colleges in India for CAT. And at the end of the last video, basically, I left you on a slightly tense note where I told you that I had not cleared CAT. I had decided not to prepare for it again. I had cleared one of the best consulting companies. I'd been placed at one of the best consulting companies that came on campus, and I had that offer in hand. But I had a dilemma. I didn't know if I should join that company or take the offbeat path of joining a startup, namely in my case, Colonel Pandey's company, which I had interned at during my college years and I loved working with. So that was my dilemma. When I spoke to Colonel Pandey about this, he had a very simple take. He said that, look, you worked at my company, you worked at a startup, you have enough startup exposure. In fact, according to him at that point, both Nachiket and I, we had worked equally during our college period. According to him, we had the work experience of at least someone who has worked full time for 2 to 3 years. So he equated our exposure during the internships at that level. So of course, it sounds really great to hear these sort of words of high praise from someone in his position, but we really had no clue what he meant by that. So we just took his words at face value. I took his words at face value, and I asked him what I should do. He suggested that he just said basically that I was going to potentially regret not taking up the job offer that I already had, because that path would be closed off for me for the foreseeable future, unless I decided to get a postgraduate degree and then I got placed somewhere. But basically, until the next 4 or 5 years, whenever that would happen, that path of going and working in a big consulting firm would potentially be closed off for me, and I might regret it later on. So he said something to the effect of that, look, I have enough faith in you, you've worked for me, and I know what you're capable of. I'll be happy to have you back and let you work for me full time. But he said that if you want to go, see for yourself how it is like. And if you don't like it, come back. We'll see how we can reintroduce you to the organization then. And so that helped me personally quite a lot. And I understand that that's not always a luxury for most people, but in my case, it did really help me. It helped me in the sense that it wasn't a either or situation for me. I could always come back to this, and he would always consider me, at least, even if it wasn't a guaranteed thing. He would always consider me to allow me to join back at his company. So I knew that I had that sort of backup with me, that I could have my cake and eat it too. And so I decided that let's give it a shot. And so in July 2017, I joined that company. Within 3 weeks, I realized that I wasn't cut out for it. And I told my parents, I was living with my parents at the time, and I told them that I don't think it's going to work out. I think it was really, I found it quite mind-numbing, the kind of work that we had to do. It was more about researching stuff on the internet, doing a lot of manual work without really a overall macro in mind. It was just a lot of grunt work, and I really didn't enjoy it because it really didn't stimulate me intellectually. Sadly, I was not met with the kind of enthusiasm or support that I had hoped for from my parents. I was told in no uncertain terms that I was making probably one of the biggest mistakes of my life. That no one in their right senses left a big name brand company like the one I was working at. That I was extremely stupid. That I was childlike, and a variety of different adjectives were thrown at me. Um, at this point, I did not really feel comfortable reaching out to a friend or even my mentor, Colonel Pandey, and tell him completely, about what was happening at my home. And so I kept it, bottled in for quite a lot of time. What helped me through that period was the tools that he had taught me throughout the last couple of years, which was basically putting things on a timeline, reviewing your problem on a timeline. So I did. I thought about it quite a bit. And I realized that my desire was one thing, which was working at a startup. Here, in this case, it was working with Colonel Pandey. My reality was that if I took that decision, it would put me at odds with my current situation, which was my parents. I was living with them. So then I thought, what's the worst case scenario? In this case, the worst case scenario would be that my parents might just throw me out. And it sounds silly to say it in hindsight. And to you as well, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this video, many of you will be thinking, like, of course, which parent kicks out their kid? But I really don't have any justification for that point of view. But I just knew that at that point, that was my worst case scenario. And I had to prepare for that. I had to mitigate that scenario in any way I could. So, through gritted teeth, I decided that I was going to work at the current company for a good period, for a year and a half. Whenever I had spoken with Colonel Pandey, he had just told me one thing. He said, look, if you come to work with me, you want, and I told him very clearly, sir, I want to come and I want to become an entrepreneur. And I'm coming to you because I want to learn how to become an entrepreneur. He said, fine, I'll teach you everything I know. But he said, the minimum you require is 3 complete years working with me. So he said, if you're ready, come to me and just put 3 years on your timeline and just block everything else out. So I knew that if I was going to work for Colonel Pandey, I had to have 3 years completely blocked out. What I had not accounted for was this current reality, was that if I was going to work for him, my parents were going to be extremely unhappy about it. And that I might find myself in a environment at home which was not going to be conducive, or I might even find myself kicked out. So I had to prepare for that. And so what I did was, I decided that I was going to save every penny that I could and work towards building a corpus that if I were to pursue my entrepreneurial passions for 3 years, that I could support myself without any salary. So I went to that extreme, which was probably not something that was required of me at that time. In hindsight, I over-prepared, but I really don't regret any of it because it helped me build up a lot of mental strength in that time period. So I did that. So through gritted teeth, I worked. I just calculated the average amount of rent that I would have to pay if I were living alone in a 1 BHK in Delhi near my office. I calculated my overheads, I calculated my grocery charges, my maintenance charges, utilities, whatnot, everything. And then I came to a figure of around 25,000, 30,000 per month that I would require to sustain just myself without any salary. And then I extrapolated that over the course of 3 years. And then I said, okay, so this is the figure. This is the amount of money that I need to have saved. And so I set about doing that. And I realized that if I was going to work at this company for at least a year, I would save that much money. If if I kept my expenses to an absolute bare minimum, that is. So over the next year and 3 months to be exact, I worked day in, day out at the company, didn't take any leaves. There was even a policy of encashing your leaves at the end of the period when you're leaving the company. So I even optimized for that small thing. Never took any leaves, worked day in, day out, didn't go on any expensive vacations. Now, this was one of the higher paying jobs that people got from my campus, from my college. So, people really, given that this was their first job and they were earning so much, they were splurging. I had friends go on foreign vacations once, twice, even 3 times a year. I saw them eating out at expensive restaurants every second day or third day of the week. I, on the other hand, was someone who was just going to the office and going back home. There was no in between for me most days. And I was simply working towards a goal which I had put on my timeline. And my goal was that I wanted to become independent. I wanted to come to a point where I could tell my mom and dad that, look, this is what I'm deciding to do, and come to them from a position of strength rather than a position of weakness. That if I have to move out tomorrow, I will do it. And I can do it. I have the means to do it. It's okay if you don't support me, but that is not going to hold me back. At the current moment, their view of my future was holding me back by a large extent. So I did that. So over the course of a year and 3 months, I managed to save a whole lot of money for the next 3 years that I had budgeted. And that's when I reached out to Colonel Pandey and said that, sir, I hope that you'll consider me and that I want to come back and join your company full time. And I had to, it took a couple of discussions after that. I went through a whole rigorous interview process. But at the end of it, he did agree to bring me back on and put me in the company full time at the end of 3 years. And that is when at that point, I didn't even ask my parents. So when I decided, once Colonel Pandey said that I'm okay if you come, I simply went, talked to my manager, talked to him and told him what I wanted to do. And I put in my email. That's it. And once I had formally resigned from my company, was when I went back to my parents. And I still remember that day because that day I never asked for their permission. I told them that this is what I was going to do. All hell broke loose after that, as I had, foreseen. And it wasn't a pretty scene at home after that at all. But I was happy that I had made my own decision for the first time in life, without any elder person, without any wise counsel. I had made my own decision based on the tools that I had gathered for myself. Basically, analyzing a problem, deconstructing it, and putting it on a timeline. And that was my first tryst of using the timeline just for myself. Once I did that, life really started opening up for me. I would like to rewind a couple of things just before I tell you what happened next. I will be telling you so basically once I did that, life really started opening up for me. Because then I realized that I had the intellectual capacity, I had the mental strength to withstand anything that life could throw at me, really. Because at that point, I had successfully stood up to my parents, which was an extremely hard thing to do for someone to do in the Indian context, where you've brought up in a very traditional way. And I had charted my own course, which was extremely tough because I didn't know anyone who was doing the things that I was doing, who was leaving a well paying, very successful job, at least from the outside, for in all senses, financially speaking, brand name wise, a step down to go and work at a small company. I decided to do it because I wanted to optimize for skills, abilities versus money in the early part of my career. Because that was something that I had identified, that if I wanted to become an entrepreneur, then I had to gain the skill set of becoming of an entrepreneur. And I couldn't think of a better way of learning that than going to work for an entrepreneur and working closely with him. So I just went in with the mindset, fine. At the end of 3 years, if I realized I wasn't cut out for it, good. It doesn't matter. At least I tried, and I was happy to die on my own sword and be wrong, rather than let my parents or my friends or society tell me that, you were never cut out for it. The other flip side of that was that if I was right, that if I actually was cut out, then this would probably be the best decision that I would have ever made. In any case, there was no way of knowing what would happen 3 years later. But with that sort of thinking, I went in and started my first day working for Colonel Pandey. Those 3 years were probably one of the most transformative years of my life. And I really, really developed tremendously, exponentially as a person, as a professional. And that really set me up for one of the biggest exercises, timeline exercises, planning your life type of exercise that I had to do. And I did that last year. So this is where I'll stop this video. In the next video, I will take you through the timeline that I prepared, which was the most complex exercise that I have had to do in my life ever. So this one covered the next 5 years of my life. After I completed 3 years of working at Colonel Pandey's company, learning everything that I could from him, realizing that yes, I was cut out to be an entrepreneur and that I had made the right decision. But at the end of those 3 years, I realized that I was so consumed by the process of becoming an entrepreneur that I hadn't really given any thought to what was my next step. And so once I started thinking about that, once my timeline started coming out, I realized that no, I must think of the timeline for myself. I must think of the timeline for my partner, who had been with me at that point for almost 7 years. And so my exercise for planning for the next 5 years for 2 people was what really taught me some new things about the timeline theory, about deconstructing a problem to its bare bones. And that is what I will be taking you through in the last video of this 4-part series on the timeline. It was one of the toughest things that I had to do, this planning exercise, and it will hopefully teach you something about planning a timeline for yourself. I would have hopefully at the end of these 4 videos taken you through this entire cycle from a young kid to someone who's an adult. And I hope, like I always say at the end of these videos, that you are learning something, that you are finding these useful. And if there are any suggestions, any comments, please let us know. We are new to this YouTube thing, and I really enjoy getting feedback. As long as it's constructive, it really improves the quality of our videos and it helps you understand better. I am all for it. Anyway, thank you so much. Bye bye.